Sheila and I are both tall, so I hope get this correct. Good, all right. Well, as you can see from the screen, monarch butterflies and friends. This is not just about monarch butterflies. But I'm sure all of you have noticed that there have been many fewer, not just monarchs, but butterflies in general. And if you're up at night with the lights on and you're looking for moths, you see that there are fewer moths also. I'm not sure you do that, but I've done that. And it's not just those, it's all the native bees and other pollinators that we really are going to need to help. And as soon as we can, because we're in trouble and they're in trouble. I don't need to tell you that that's a monarch, I don't think. That is a female monarch. I know that because it does not have little black spots on its hind wings. Later on I'll show you a male. This is a female, and this female has gone through complete metamorphosis, and I, as an educator, usually start too loud. Okay? I don't need to be right on it, she says. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Better? Okay. I always assume that young children and more experienced humans like us don't know much about things like the metamorphosis of a butterfly or a moth. A lot of you do, but I bet there's some in here that don't. So I start from the very ground floor when it comes to metamorphosis. I'm particularly talking about monarchs because, as you've all heard a lot about in the last couple of weeks especially, there's been a huge, rapid decline in the monarchs. And because people are so aware of monarchs and their migration, the monarch is used as an example of decline of our pollinators and our butterflies and moths. So there will be an emphasis on monarchs, but I'm really talking about what we're in trouble. We're in real trouble unless we all begin to make some changes, and I don't mean just us in Charlottesville. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of good going on, so I'll be telling you about that. So that's just the first of some of this says, for those in the back that look like they might not be able to read this, it says, we're not going to save the monarchs unless the public gets involved. And I would say we're not going to save the pollinators either, and the other pollinators, not just monarchs. I hate to see that they've written, we must get people to plant milkweed everywhere. And there's an unbelievable movement right now that's beginning all over the Midwest and the East Coast to see if there can be corridors of nectaring plants and milkweed planted along highways, along utility lines, and all kinds of things are happening that are just beginning to happen, but I'll tell you more about that too. Now here she is, Mrs. Monarch, laying one egg. Right there. That little tiny thing is the egg. In this case, she's laying it on a bud. Most of the time they lay there a single egg underneath a leaf of a milkweed plant. And they only lay eggs on milkweed. That's why the milkweed is such drastic need. They will not lay their eggs if they can't find milkweed. And around here in Central Virginia, The native milkweeds that will grow well here are the common milkweed that everybody's pretty familiar with. There are pictures over there. The butterfly weed, which is a great plant to plant in, very colorful, and one that you can get locally a lot of places. And swamp milkweed. Those are the three that are native to our area and that will grow well here. There are hundreds of kinds of milkweed. This is the egg. And this one's close to hatching. It only takes 3 or 4 days after the eggs hatch, is laid. A healthy female monarch will lay 100 to 200 eggs. That is, if she has enough energy from being able to have enough nectarine plants to eat. I mean, not milkweed. She lays her eggs on the milkweed, but all of these butterflies and all that we all love so much, the little ones and the big ones, have to have nectarine plants, which are just our native plants that we grow in our gardens. But the key is that it's native. 13 times more caterpillars use native plants and get their nectar from native plants. I love butterfly bush. In our garden at Venable School, we have some butterfly bushes. A butterfly bush is not a native plant. A butterfly bush does not provide, even though the butterflies are all over it. And we have some free plants at the school. Against the advice of my good master gardener friend, we still have some. But the butterflies come to it, and they're nectaring on it, but the kind of nectar they're getting from that non-native plant is not giving them the nutrition that they really need. So that's why you keep hearing native plants, native plants. That's the size of a monarch caterpillar. Now, it took me a long time when I started looking for the caterpillars. It took me a long time to be able to find one because they are so minute. They are no bigger than a comma that you would write on a piece of paper. But they grow quite rapidly. And here's the first thing that the caterpillar is going to eat is its eggshell. It has some kind of calcium in it or whatever it has in it. The caterpillar is going to eat its eggshell first. Maybe not the whole shell, but most of it. And this one has eaten part of its eggshell, and it is crawling off to begin eating. It's an amazing growth and amazing number of leaves that a caterpillar can eat. It has its green color now because it is of what it's eating. It's eating green, so it has green color. It's going to molt its skin 4 times before it's ready to make its chrysalis. Now, most of you know, I bet, that a butterfly forms a chrysalis and a moth forms a cocoon. 2 different things. Now, this is many more caterpillars that are usually in one place. These are all monarch caterpillars, and they are a monarch. As I said, a female will lay 1 egg on a plant. If you find more than 1 egg on a plant, that's more than 1 mother that has laid her eggs on there. To have this many on this 1 plant means there are not enough milkweed plants in the area where these butterflies lay their eggs. They'll probably do fine, and especially if there's some nice human that's going to supplement their food if they give out. And that's what a lot of people are beginning to do. Now, 12, 14 days, all they do is eat and grow and poop. Eat and grow and poop. The fancy scientific name for caterpillar poop is frass, F-R-A-S-S. It's very good for the earth because, of course, all it is rich plant matter. This one is ready to roll. It is ready to, it's big enough now to go to the next stage of metamorphosis, which is going to be forming its chrysalis. I'm showing you this picture because you'll see its spiracles. Those little lines there are little holes. All butterfly and moth caterpillars and adults have spiracles, which are little holes in the side of their body, and they breathe through those holes. That's its head. And there's 6 legs up here. Those 6 legs are the true legs that are going to be the legs of the adult butterfly. So there you see the parts of all insects. All insects have a head, thorax, and an abdomen. And in the case of all, it doesn't matter what kind of butterfly you're seeing, what kind of caterpillar, they all have, well, almost all of them have 16 legs and the same body parts. They just have different shapes and different colors, and some of them are smooth, some are bristly, and I'll show you some of those later. A lot of caterpillars, when they're disturbed, they will curl up in a ball like that, and some of them will just fall right off the plant and drop to the ground, and that will keep them safe, they think. And in the case of a monarch, birds do not like monarchs to eat because in milkweed there is a white, sticky liquid called latex. And it looks like milk. It's called milkweed. And it tastes terrible to a predator bird. It'll taste terrible. A blue jay, if it eats one, will never eat another. Because when it eats the first one, it either will gag or throw up. And it learns, no, I'm not eating that color caterpillar again. So it's a great protection. The metamorphosis just means from the caterpillar to the chrysalis. And the caterpillar makes a little J shape and forms a gorgeous chrysalis. In the case of all the chrysalis, every one of these butterflies makes a different kind of chrysalis. It depends on what it is. They're not all the same. Only a monarch will look like this, and I'll show you another one, a black swallowtail later. And then, after 10 or 11 days, it will emerge into the adult.